When powerful nations invade other countries, you hear statements from Washington. You hear reactions from Europe. You see sanctions, summits, emergency meetings. And then there's China, measured, careful, often neutral in tone. Why? Is China weak, afraid? Or is silence itself a strategy? Because in geopolitics, sometimes the loudest power is the quietest one. When major invasions or wars break out, Beijing typically calls for restraint, urges dialogue, avoids direct condemnation, avoids direct endorsement. This pattern appeared during the conflict between Russia and Ukraine. China did not fully support Russia publicly, but it did not condemn it either. To many Western observers, that looked like fence-sitting. But from Beijing's perspective, it was calculated positioning. China does not operate on election cycles. Its leadership plans decades ahead. Where Western governments think in 4 to 8 year terms, Beijing thinks in 20-30-year arcs. Silence allows China to avoid immediate backlash, preserve trade relations, keep diplomatic flexibility, watch how the global system reacts. China studies every war like a case study. How effective are sanctions? How united is the West? How resilient is the global economy? Every conflict becomes research. The most sensitive issue for China is Taiwan. Beijing views Taiwan as part of its territory. So when powerful nations invade others, China isn't just watching geopolitics, it's analyzing precedent. If Russia faces sanctions for territorial action, how would the world respond if China moved on Taiwan? China studies financial sanctions, military responses, energy disruptions, alliance coordination. Silence gives Beijing space to observe without committing. China's strength is economic integration. It is a major trading partner for Europe, deeply connected to U.S. supply chains, central to global manufacturing. Openly backing invasions could trigger sanctions against China itself. And China's economy is still deeply connected to Western markets. Beijing's calculation is simple. Why risk economic isolation when time is on your side? Instead of military confrontation, China prefers infrastructure investments, Belt and Road projects, trade leverage, currency diplomacy, quiet expansion, not loud confrontation. The Russia-Ukraine war gave China something invaluable. A live demonstration of Western financial warfare, the freezing of foreign reserves, swift restrictions, energy sanctions. Beijing saw how powerful economic weapons can be. So staying publicly neutral helps China avoid secondary sanctions, maintain global trade credibility, prevent coalition building against it. If China openly sides with aggressors, it accelerates containment efforts. Silence slows that momentum. China positions itself as a champion of sovereignty and non-interference. This message resonates strongly in Africa, Latin America, Southeast Asia. Many developing nations distrust Western interventionism. By avoiding loud support for invasions, China preserves its image as a stable partner, a development-focused power, an alternative to Western dominance. Even when Beijing's strategic interests align with certain actors, its rhetoric remains cautious, because reputation is influence. Everything China does internationally is filtered through one lens: the United States. Openly backing invasions risks, strengthening U.S.-led alliances, justifying expanded military presence in Asia, accelerating Indo-Pacific containment. China does not want to unify its rivals. It prefers division. If Europe depends economically on China, it's harder for Europe to fully align with Washington. Silence preserves that ambiguity. There is a concept in geopolitics: strategic ambiguity. It means keeping your intentions unclear to maximize flexibility. By not committing fully, China keeps diplomatic doors open, maintains trade access, avoids triggering military escalation, gains leverage in negotiations. Ambiguity is uncomfortable for observers. But strategically, it's powerful. Because once you take a clear side, you lose maneuverability. China protects maneuverability. Many critics argue that silence shows fear. But look at China's actions beyond statements: expanding navy, investing in military modernization, securing energy routes, building artificial islands in contested waters. This is not a passive state. It's an incremental strategist. Silence in speeches, movement in structure. So why does China stay silent when powerful countries invade? Because silence protects its economy, preserves diplomatic flexibility, allows strategic observation, avoids premature confrontation, keeps focus on Taiwan. In geopolitics, power isn't just about reacting. It's about choosing when to react. And Beijing's philosophy is clear. Why fight today if patience makes tomorrow easier? Silence isn't absence, it's calculation.